let's reflect a little on last week, shall we? I mean, the team achieved 20 unbeaten. No group of Sheffield Wednesday footballers has ever done that in the past. What does that mean to you?
It's a nice accolade to have, I guess. But I think, as you probably imagine what I'm going to say, our eyes are set on what happens at the end of the season, not what we do in the middle of the season. But it just shows, what level we've been at over a prolonged period of time. We've just got to keep that up for as long as we can going to the end of the season. But it is obviously a great achievement as a bunch of players and staff to have. But at the end of the day, we want to be in the league above doing that. So,
how have you as a squad got to a place? Because it's not so much about performances, it's more about mentality sometimes across such a long unbeaten run. To get to that stage where you are capable as a group of players of doing that?
I think it's a very calm dressing room, really. It's an experienced dressing room. There's been no carried away with going top of the league or being a little bit behind. It's over a course of 46 games that you win a league or you get promotion. That's how you do it. So I actually think just through experience and calmness, really, no giddiness, no getting carried away with, we've won 3 on the spin. It's the same when, I look back when we drew 3 games on the bounce. It was like, I don't look on much social media, I don't have it, but it was like this massive uproar that we drew 3 games, and we felt it a little bit in-house. But personally, me and a few of the more senior lads were very calm about that. It's over the course of a year we had a little bit of an iffy spell, and we drew 3 games. It was never the end of the world, and now I guess the press and us as well, we're not talking about those 3 games now, are we? So over the course of the season there's highs and lows.
Okay then, so that's one side of it. The other side of it then would be, how do you not talk about the fact that you are, 20 as it stands then, unbeaten, and get carried away? If it's all very well to kind of put to one side the lower moments of the season, to not kind of get OTT about the high ones.
I think it just builds day by day and game by game. I think the momentum is something that, I'm fairly experienced, played quite a lot of games, and if you could bottle up, momentum, be it positively or negatively, you'd win every title or every league, because I think it's something that's unexplained. It's hard to explain how you go into games a lot more confident as a group. We were 2-1 down against MK Dons last week, and the dressing room was calm at half time. The manager had things to say he wasn't happy with, of course, but it was listen, trust, we know what we're good at, it'll come, stick with whereas you go back maybe 6 months, start the season, that might have been like a bit more of a panic, like, right, we've got to get into this game the next 5 minutes. If we don't, we've got to change everything. So it is very calm, and 20 games unbeaten, we're still not where we want to be, which is we want promotion wrapped up. We've still got a long way to go. And
given what you've just said, then one might imagine to get a group of players all to have that same mindset is quite hard. So what's been the process that you've gone through to get to this stage then, whether it's you specifically as an individual or the group as a whole?
I think I've noticed a massive swing in the attitudes and the collective mentality in the squad since I've been here. I think it was a bit fractured at times. I know the previous year for certain, and even the start of the year, it was slightly, disappointment I think was still overhanging from losing in the playoffs last season. And I think it takes time sometimes, and the manager's a very calm influence on the squad. He wants people to do things right, train every day at a good level, and he's very calm. He doesn't like rashness, and I think on the pitch we've managed to just kind of keep body language a bit better. I think at times body language gets a bit in the way, and we know the fans here expect high standards from the team, and at times they won't be happy with the results or the way we're playing at that current moment, and it's dealing with that as well. Our fans are brilliant and they get behind us, but when they expect better, they'll make us aware. And I think over the course of the season we've got better at dealing with that and actually giving them something to cheer about and get off the seats about, and that actually 9 times out of 10 is hard work, making a tackle, playing the ball forwards, and then it kind of swings.
Yeah, it is interesting that not very often, but on odd occasions this season, Wednesday have won, and yet there's been moans and groans and the odd kind of boo at the end, which is quite strange.
That's just the nature of playing for a big club with a good fan base that expects high standards. I think it's tougher for young players because you won't understand maybe, but it's just a frustration of we expect better, and as players we expect better as well. So we do understand it. If you could choose, you wouldn't have it, but sometimes it's maybe that little kick that you need as a squad to remember that we play for Sheffield Wednesday, which is a big football club that isn't happy about being in this league, and we have the responsibility as players to get us back into the league where we should be.
This is not about comparing circumstances or squads just because you're the local rivals, but the whole idea when you got promoted with Rotherham United, in the circumstances where the results and the performances are just coming, and that the kind of loose phrase of being kind of in the zone, do you kind of get the sense that Wednesday are in that boat now?
It feels like as a team, at the training ground on a match day, that it does feel like we're in a little bit of a bubble, I would call it maybe, of we've kept everything very in-house and calm, like I've said before, and it's something that it's hard to find the words to explain when you're on a good run. We're well aware that we might have another drop in form from now to the end of the season, but it's how you manage that and how you bounce straight back from that. But at the moment, everything feels like it's ticking along nicely, and there's still 13 games to go, it's 39 points at the end of the day. It's a long way to go.
And Peterborough next, obviously victorious against Wednesday earlier in the season, with the sending offs, etc. What do you make of them now? Because they've had some pretty significant results recently themselves.
Yeah, they're a good team. Obviously, they've got a manager back in there who's worked at the club numerous times, I think, knows how to get the best out of the players and the fans, and they've had a good little run of form. I think going back to the away game at Peterborough, it's probably one of the only games we couldn't really fairly assess and say we did X or Y wrong, because we went down to 10 man fairly quickly, and then it's always an uphill battle from there. I think there'll be a completely different game tomorrow, and hopefully that will be in a positive way for us, but it's one that normally you would analyse the game you last played them, but actually it's pretty hard to do after, I don't know, 15-20 minutes down to 10 men and a change of shape, and so looking forward to it, because it's one that few teams have beat us this year, but they have beat us, and we want to put one right against them.